So, it turns out Keemstar, as we all know, is a bit of a bum. Kind of a dickhead, kind of a jackass, makes a fool out of himself every now and then. We've also now got Ohmwrecker on the scene, a previous member of the Vanos gaming crew, who kind of got left out in the end and is clearly a little salty. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Ohmwrecker made a bunch of allegations against H. Delirious and Wildcat, and I guess also Minilad and Louis, but those two are kind of like confirmed. We know that they did something, but he didn't really mention them in these new allegations, so I'm just going to go with that. But he mentioned that Wildcat and H2O Delirious are kind of creeps. And I believe basically I do work as well, he mentions, and someone else. Can't remember who it was. But he talks about like a thing about them exchanging nudes at some point, and they go on to he shows a piece of audio, right? That is not only clearly cut with no context whatsoever, just saying, no context whatsoever, and it has cuts in the audio, you can hear them, and it's very janky evidence that he comes up with. He also brings up some tweets from about 10 years ago. Yes, he's that desperate for it, which makes me think it's even weirder of a situation that he goes back 10 years for this evidence of apparently Wildcat being suggested to minors when in fact he was definitely not being suggestive at all and was just being kind of rude to the person by saying like, go make me a sandwich, bitch, whatever. And this the kind of shit people were saying 10 years ago. People weren't as very as PC as they are today. They weren't very well as more. I don't know the word. I guess yeah, social justice warrior. I guess they weren't like that before. 10 years ago, the internet was a much different place. People behaved differently. People were much more rude to people, and there was a lot more misogynistic jokes going around. Definitely, and he brings up the tweets as if they're suggestive in some sexual way, I suppose, when in reality they're definitely not in any way, shape, or form, which is very bizarre to me. Because he seems to go on about this as if there's a bunch of evidence collected against him, against the people he's talking about, when there's obviously not. And people have said, show the evidence, and he's like, oh, Keemstar's only seen this little bit. First of all, why wouldn't he show Keemstar everything on the first, go around this roundabout? You would do that naturally. Keem wasn't allowed to invite anyone on to defend themselves, obviously, otherwise they would have done. Um, no one really came to that. And second of all, or third of all, Ohm really isn't a trustworthy guy from past experiences. Ohm is shown to be quite a creep himself as well. Um, it's a very odd situation to say the least. And there's also something I do want to touch on regarding the exchanging of nudes, and it's a tweet from someone, and I'll read it right now. So I will be right back. Okay, so these are the tweets on screen here from Liz Katz regarding the situation with these people that Ohmwrecker is trying to throw allegations against. Liz Katz says, "Let me save you the click. Vanos crew drama explained. Ohm, who is a creepy dude with a history of getting mad, that no one will play with him anymore. So he starts making up accusations to get everyone he feels wronged him cancelled. Louis is kind of a jerk and an idiot, but whatever, and says a bunch of crap to someone he barely knows. He slid into my DMs before long ago. Didn't do anywhere he likes to just like talk crap. Sorry, I'm having trouble. I don't have my glasses on. Then goes on to say he wishes he pulled the girls and nudes Delirious gets, me and my nudes. I know the group, all of them, does not share my nudes, but I'm sure he and plenty of other guys, probably others in that circle, are in some other groups that do, but I post nude photos for a living. I'm just mad. They should be paying like everyone else. Then Owen bounces on this, misconstrues everything, and frames it like everyone is sharing underage images in some secret ring. Everyone who doesn't like him, of course, which is convenient, by the way. Then a few very fake profiles come up trying to spread this bullshit. All created in the past months, following this creepy guy as the first or second profile, and just a handful of others, posting nearly identical things to Ohm, and only these things, and then they psycho like all my things. Yeah, I'm not about that. Blocked all. It's BS for someone to make false claims against someone or against people simply because they feel wrong, and then completely misconstrue others to attack people they don't like. I understand and realize, due to their history and past allegations they made up against their past employers and work, this person seems to have severe issues, but that is no excuse for this. Shame on Ohm and those that continue to give him a platform to keep his manipulative nonsense. I hope he leaves our lives and one day karma will bite him in the ass. Obviously, also digging Keemstar there for giving him a platform to talk about this stuff, which is true. Keem should have done a bit more evidence and looked at this some more. Now, there is something else I want to talk about that's really annoyed me. And you can probably see by these two that it's going to be something about Dramala and the other tab, but it's about the thumbnail and about Vanos. Vanos, in all of these allegations, has gone completely untouched. He's been perfectly fine, nothing against him. However, Keemstar, being a mastermind and genius, not only front and centered Vanos in the thumbnail for clicks, I believe, but at the same time also stole the thumbnail completely from Sunny V2, who made a video called The 10-Year Evolution of the Vanos Crew, Minilad, Terrorizer, Ohmwrecker, Louis Caliber, and Vanos Gaming. Now, I'm not just saying he stole it because it looks similar. I'm saying he stole it from the fact that you can see through evidence that he definitely did take this from Sunny V2, and it's not just something you could find on Google and that has no text on it anyway. So let's make some little comparisons quickly. The Ohmwrecker logo is straight over the Vanos Gaming logo. You can see it there. You can see the drop shadow from the number 2 and the 11 and the 2 and 2 here from the, the 2, 2, 2. You can see the drop shadow from the numbers, proving that he stole it. So yeah, he just happened to steal a thumbnail at 6 million subscribers, by the way. Stealing thumbnails, Keem, come on now. But he also front and centers Vanos, who in this situation, seemingly, with no evidence against him or no allegations thrown at him, has done 0 things in this drama. But Keem, being a bum, being a fool, has posted him at the very front and center, head man of the video, which has genuinely annoyed me. Because I don't like it when people do this kind of shit for clicks, and I especially don't like it when they steal thumbnails from people who have likely worked 2 or 3 times as hard as they have on the video. And it's not a thing that an editor of Keem took the thumbnail, it's the fact that someone, Keem, definitely took it, because if you look at all of his other thumbnails, with how low quality they are, it's very obvious that either Keem or someone, probably in his family, has made these thumbnails. Because honestly, they're not very high quality. It seems like Keem's making these himself. He's definitely not hiring someone to do this, and if he is, you need a better thumbnail artist. But yeah, I feel like Keem took this himself, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He could tell that it was an original thumbnail that he stole, and it posts Vanos' front and center. Keem, you need to get a grip about it. And also, one more thing about Keem. I do believe that this video should have never been made in the first place. I do believe Keem should have done a metric buttload of more evidence, should have reached out to more of the Vanos crew. He spoke to H2O Delirious, who denied these claims and all that stuff, and said that it's a bunch of bullshit. However, he never got anyone on Drama Alert to be allowed to defend themselves, to bring up any evidence against these allegations. However, the allegations and proof that he's showing is very, very questionable. So yeah, all in all, this situation is very odd, very bizarre. I do believe that Ohm is full of shit in this instance. Ohm has been known to be quite a very dodgy person in the past, has been known to be very untrustworthy, and all in all, I don't think it's worth looking into that much. He did recently post about stuff thinking, oh, it's not as deep, when it clearly is. He's clearly salty and bitter that he was left out of the group, and he feels bad about it. I mean, it speaks volumes when you have to go back 10 years to the point where the internet was a very different place, to then bring up some tweets, in the hand, bring up some tweets and say, oh, look, this tweet is very suggestive towards this minor, when in fact it's definitely not suggestive for the minor, when it's not even a suggestive tweet at all. The only thing that he's bringing up is that the person on the other end was a minor at the age of 17, and I think it was Wildcat anyway, was say being rude to her. I don't know. It's a really weird situation. Keem definitely shouldn't have reported on it. Keem definitely needs to change the thumbnail, and if there is someone making his thumbnails, he needs to, I don't mean killed, I mean fired. But yeah, it's just a weird thing. I don't believe a single word of Ohmwrecker in this situation. I can't believe Keemstar, with this janky evidence, reported, and I do feel like it's out of desperation for clicks, unfortunately. When you talk about Vanos, one of the most memorable crews on YouTube in YouTube history, probably the biggest in terms of like a big group of players. Yeah, it's going to get clicks if you talk smack about them with very limited evidence. So yeah, all in all, awkward situation, very strange, very janky in terms of evidence. There definitely needs to be more of this. Ohm did say, oh, I've got evidence, more evidence to show that Keem has only seen sort of the tip of the iceberg. When in reality, you would show the person who's making these news stories all of the news before you do part one and two. You know, so it genuinely doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like he hasn't got any more evidence, or he's going to make some more evidence up and try to dig where there is no gold to be found. So yeah, again, situation's odd. Odd? Odd. I'm gonna end this video here. I'm starting to like this new format of just talking to you guys. It's pretty fun. But anyway, I've been Jake Plays. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inside, stay safe, get vaccinated. My mom's just been vaccinated recently. Really cool stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, and bye-bye.